All right, this is a CNC Tools USB device that I keep out at my CNC machine. And on that, I have several toolpaths that I've set up to do just different things that I don't have to really load up in Aspire or VCarve. I just can load this up, put that in there, and point my bit to where I want it to go, and then boom, there I am. So I'm going to go over a few things that I've got on this and see what we've got in it. All right, we're going to go down here to this USB drive that I've got labeled CNC Tools. And here they are. We're going to start off with these. These are the folders that I have on there. So if I need to create one of these things, I can do that on the fly. This is just a small laser cut grin. It's basically just like a smiley face with the letter grin. And that's on there. So if I want to tag something that's mine, I can put that on there real quick and burn it. So and it works off the centers. But anyway, let's look at our cam clamps. And this will cut out 3 cam clamps. And these are clamps that I've gleaned off of the web, and I've just basically kind of customized them a little bit to where they fit, in what I work with. Let's look at the tool path, and this is just 1/8 inch Endmill. And of course, that tool path has been combined. And let's just go over here and see what they look like here. And we'll preview all tool paths. And so that's basically what they look like. They've got tabs in them. And I make them out of 1/4 inch plywood, and then I laminate them together to that point where, if I need higher ones, then I can stack them on top of each other or whatever. A lot of times I'll use washers with that, but let's look at some cam clamps lasered. And there's a tap file in there that I can get, but this is basically 2 cam clamps that are basically on 2 different sheets, and they're lasered, the same settings. This is the longer handle. They have a little flat spot on them so that you can line them up to the edge of the board. And this will cut all them out. And then this is just a shorter version where the handle's been nibbed off a little bit. Could probably make them a little bit prettier, but they're functional, and they're kind of something that is basically designed to be, cut into, burn up, or torn up. And that's a 20-watt laser that's cutting it. Power's 100%, move speed's 10, so it'll cut through a 1/4 inch plywood. And it pretty well does a good job of it. I will say that it's faster with a 1/8 inch end mill cutting it out. But, sometimes you just want to use the laser and get it out there. And then this is one that if I just want to put a 1/4 inch, 7/16 inch hex nut into a board, and I can just basically take that board and take like my V-bit and stick it in there in the very center where I want this hex nut to be. So if I'm building a jig and I say, okay, I need a hex nut right there, I can center that for that, and then this thing will go in here and cut out a hex nut hole. And let's just get her to run there real quick. And that's that. Let's see here. Let's run that real quick again. All right. And so that will cut that out, and then it'll embed that in there as well. So that's then you can just set your your nut in there and tap it into place. So let's go over here and jump over here and look at this, the next one. Whoops. And then the keyhole slot, and I generally have 2 keyhole slots. One's a 1 inch, one's a 2 inch, so I can just load them up right here. This is basically the setup here for the 1 inch. And let her load up. Of course, I'm loading this up off of the thumb drive. So anyway, this is a 1 inch deal. This piece of block of wood is 2 inches by 2 inch. And that's basically to set your center, that, and then your keyhole slot will come over here, go down, cut across here, come back, and do that. And this is a rectangle. And so that's how you get that to come up on your view whenever you want to view it. And we'll just view, select the tool path. Of course, that's giving you the utmost diameter of the bit, which in actuality you just have the hole in this one end, and then there's a smaller slot right here where that bit comes through. But anyway, you can just load up your thumb drive, and if you want a 1 inch, you just load that up and center it where you want it, and it'll do the thing and position your piece of equipment in there. So caught up two things. Knobs. Basically, the knobs are some knobs that I've gleaned from the web, and I went in there and set them up to where they would cut out a 1/4 inch head bolt in them, and that kind of thing. So it worked out real well. And this is that same nut thing, and it goes around and cuts them out. And I'll generally make 30-40 knobs at a time, and then about every 3-4 years I'll cut some more when I put them on jigs or whatever. And these are made out of red oak, and they're a good knob, and they came out real well. So let's jump up here and preview all toolpaths. And there they go. You can see them on the sides there, side view, where they're at there, and cuts them out, and you embed your nut in there, or the bolt, whichever you're deciding to do with it. And then that's the tap right there that cuts those out. So I just load the tap, and each one of these I've pretty well shown you that I've got the main file that you can use to edit it, or the cut tap out. So I generally just load the tap at the machine. But every now and then I want to make a small change to it, for some various reasons, and go with that. This is a push stick device, and basically what I do is I'll get me just some scraps and lay them in there and tack them down with a couple 23 gauge pin nails, and I'll go around here and cut these out real quick. And then if I want them to be 1/2 inch thick, I'll glue 2 of them together. If I want 3/4 inch thick, 3 of them were 1 inch thick. Just all depends. Sometimes I'll use the 1/4 inch, but I just laminate them together and shoot a couple, glue them and put some pin nails in. So I've got various, thicknesses of them, and of course they're all, exactly the same, and it works out pretty good. So we're gonna preview all toolpaths, and of course there's your push stick, and it works out good. And I'll do some of those and clean up some of the stuff that I'm working on, and gather some scraps and say I need some new cam clamps, and so I'll get them to that point. And then that was push stick, and then the spoil board. This is something I use quite a bit, and I just load up that one right there. That's for a 24 inch by 24 inch spoil board, and it only cuts 0.01 deep. So I've kind of learned not to cut very much. If I want to run it again, then I just run the toolpath again, and adjust my Z. But these are set at 0.01. If you go much more than that, and you're using a 2-inch cutter, and you can just sit there and you can really dog down a bit with a 2-inch cutter, and especially flattening. So that basically goes around there and does a good job, and I'll use it to clean up the screw holes in my jig boards. I'll use it to clean up, remove the 23 gauge pin nails that have broken off that I didn't get removed, or any little imperfections. Run it real quick. It don't take very long to run it, and after it's done, you got a nice flat surface for your V carvings and things like that, and it works out real well. So it basically just goes around and cleans it up, and very good tool to have on that CNC Tools. So there you have it, and I probably have a few more that I could probably put on there, but for the biggest part, these are the ones that I'll pull off from time to time and do them. The biggest ones that is of course the spoil board, the keyhole, and the cam clamps, because I'll use them and they'll get cut by the cutters, because I don't really care. It's all made out of scrap, and I'll use them as cams, and so they have a toll that's being taken on them. Every now and then I need the hex head slots. So, but these are things that I will commonly use and recreate on the fly. Thanks for watching.